The final technique that I want to teach you, Jim, if you could get the video up there. The final technique that I want to teach you was actually taught to me very early in my career. I had done the oral defense for my dissertation. And I did something that was sort of esoteric, so my committee really didn't know much about it. And I'm a good presenter, so I ended up making a great presentation. Is that it? I can just push play? Okay. Okay. So I ended up doing a very good presentation, did a great job. Afterwards, they called me in, they said, you passed, but what we really want you to do is read this book, The Magic of Thinking Big. And we want you to make a wish list. The guy's name was Bob Motta. So we had to talk about it afterwards. We really want you to do this. Now, my mom had died while I was in graduate school, actually my first year of graduate school. And I was just sort of obsessed. I mean, I finished my dissertation in a half a year. I was just obsessed. I had all kinds of physical stress symptoms because I was working so hard. I wrote I think it was like 700 or 800 pages that got whittled down to 365. I mean, I was just an obsessive kind of person. So they made me make a wish list. In that Magic of Thinking Big, on page, whatever page it was, 38, it said, make a wish list of things that you want to do in your life, and think big. Think big. So I started lifting. Okay, I started writing. I remember I was into whitewater rafting, and I always wanted to raft at Class 4 or Class 5 rapids. I always wanted to fly a plane by myself because I had a fear of heights, and I figured that would get me over the fear. I wanted to sing on a gondola in Venice. I wanted to cook in a French restaurant. I love to cook. I wanted to cook in a French restaurant. And I wanted to act in a movie. I'd never acted in a movie before. Can you turn the lights? You want to kill an innocent man for a second time? That's Jason Miller from The Exorcist. The wrong being righted here. Can't you see that? You simple, pathetic. This is bigger than the law. This is the truth. Shut up! You get it. You know what truth is. That was a movie called Murdered Innocents from Columbia TriStar. And basically, it was on my wish list, and the opportunity came around. I was working with a director, working with a serial killer, trying to get him to become very psychopathic. And I was out drinking with the director. We were sitting around the house, and he saw tapes of Fiddler on the Roof, the song I did for you. So he said, what's that? I said, oh, I acted in some plays. Put it on. He said, you're my serial killer. You're going to be the serial killer. You see, because I wrote it down, I think it happened. If you're religious, God basically says he will grant you any grace that you ask him for if it fits his plan. I have been for years teaching people, build a wish list. I have been for years teaching couples, build a wish list. Early on in couple therapy, I say, start building a list of things you want to do. Together, individually, list some of the things. And it's strange because this is a couple, and we'll build them in the office, and they'll go, honey, I never knew you wanted to do that. You want to jump out of a plane? Are you serious? And they end up doing very fun things together. Their life starts changing. Wish lists can give you those epiphany moments in therapy. In my life, I've rafted the Deliverance River, hunted for wild boar, sung in 3 operas and city opera companies, played the lead in Fiddler on the Roof with a touring company, sung on a gondola in Venice. I sung on a gondola in Venice. It was very interesting. We were there for with a girlfriend, and we ended up meeting a gondolier. And it was Christmas Eve, and he took us around. He invited us to Christmas dinner because we were having a very good time on a gondola. He invited us to Christmas dinner. And we went to Christmas dinner, and it was just this marvelous feast. And afterwards, the guys all stand around. They drink Campari. Campari, for the guys in the room, Campari is basically this alcohol that looks and tastes like transmission fluid. It's like orange. It's really awful.
No, it's
Good thing you're not going to be here tomorrow. We're going to be. So they were drinking Campari, and because of my wish list, I after a number of drinks, I said to him, hey, you know, it's always been my goal to sing on a gondola in Venice. He says, you're be my serenader. I always wanted to work with a serenader. I said, I only know 3 songs. You make them up. Doesn't matter. So I knew a lot of tunes because I sung in the opera. I just didn't know the songs. So we'd go out. He says, we're only going to pick up Americans. You can only speak Italian around them. And I didn't speak that good of Italian at the time. He said, and we're only going to pick up Americans. You can keep whatever you get. So we pick up a Boston couple. We're driving around in the gondola. And I start singing, La Sala Mio. And it's like, wow, this guy's got a great voice, so forth, so on. And then it bounces off the walls in Venice. It's really loud. And I'm thinking, oh, Marie, oh, Marie. I got through my 3 songs. And then all of a sudden I sit there saying, God, I got to make some stuff up. And the only real Italian I knew was like menu Italian. So I started singing like, La Donna Mobile. Fettuccine carbonara. They didn't know anything. They gave me a $50 tip. And afterwards, we were, just as an aside, we went to a gondolier bar, and I put my $50. I said, let's buy people a drink until it runs out. They were drinking shots of Campari and having arm wrestling contests. Now, I was young, and I'm sitting there going, hey, arm wrestling, I'll do really good. This is a bunch of short guys on the back of gondolas. What the hell do they know about arm wrestling? So I get in, short guy, looks pretty weak. Boom, pins me. 2 seconds. They have these forearms that are like this big, just from the gondola. It was just amazing. I got my pistol license, or pilot's license. I've actually visited 6 continents in 49 states, including Antarctica. The one continent I have left is South America. I was named Man of the Year by the Alumni Club in Notre Dame. Published 70 articles, 145 TV shows, and there's a lot of things. I dated a Playboy Playmate, which was slightly colder than Antarctica. And if I live long enough, the only thing on my original list is I want to dine at the White House, and I want to catch a tuna, a giant tuna. I do this motivational speeches. People stand up all the time and say, I want to go skydive, and somebody else in the class wants to go skydiving. They'll say, I want to go X, Y, and Z, and somebody says, oh, I can give you a helicopter ride. This works, and not only with groups, with individuals. This is a good exercise when you run out of things to say. You know what? Let's do a wish list. What would you really want to do? Think big.